Let's talk tee height with your driver. So you can obviously tee the golf ball up at whatever height you want. We're gonna talk about some pros and cons of potentially teeing it higher versus teeing it lower and which one might be the best for you. So stay tuned. So we've got, if we're gonna go with a higher tee height, here's some of the reasons why you might wanna do that, and here's some of the things that will happen when you do it. So if I tee the ball a little bit higher, that can potentially help me swing a little bit more up with my angle of attack, so I can increase my angle of attack, which can help me launch the ball potentially higher in the air, which can help me potentially create a little bit more carry distance and hit the ball a little further. So that would be one of the benefits of doing this. Keep in mind, as you increase your angle of attack, so as the club starts to swing more upward, what actually happens is your club path begins to shift more to the left for a right-handed player or more out to in. So if you struggle with a slice and you're teeing the ball extremely high, that could be part of the reason why that ball curves to the right. So just keep that in mind. Like, yes, there's benefits of the angle of attack going up and potentially more distance, but it will shift the path more to the left as you start to swing more up. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. If I was gonna go with a lower tee, I might do that for potentially a lower ball flight, a lower launch. If I'm maybe looking for a little bit more control, that can be where that would maybe come into play. Obviously, as you tee the ball lower, that's generally gonna lead to contact being slightly lower on the face. Most modern drivers have the center of gravity slightly above the geometric center, so it's gonna be a little bit higher. That's in an effort to potentially help golfers reduce some spin. So as I start to strike that ball lower and lower on the face, what you might end up seeing is actually that spin increase. So that can be a potential negative there. It can level out your angle of attack, which again could also shift your swing direction or your club path more to the right for a right-handed player. So there's just some things to keep in mind when you're varying your tee height. But let's hit a couple with each one and we can kind of compare the numbers. So there's your higher tee height. I'll try to get out of the way so you guys can see this. So my launch was 15, so just a little bit higher than kind of the optimal range. Backspin you can see was around 3,000. Descent angle was a little bit higher as well. And then just the max height, that ball went 37 yards in the air. So really got up in the air super high. Again, that'd be great if you're trying to hit it up in the air, create a bunch of carry distance. That's an optimal way to do it. Now I'm gonna try one with a lower tee and we'll kind of talk about the differences. So there's the lower tee. So you can see launch angle changed by 7 degrees. We're down to 8 degrees. My backspin was still kind of in the high 2,000, 2,600 on that one. Descent angle at 25, but the big difference is the max height. That one only was 19 yards in the air. You can see the big difference on the carry versus the rollout as well. With that higher tee, ball carried a lot further, didn't roll very much. This one had a little bit shorter carry distance, rolled a lot more. So really depends on what type of shot you're trying to hit and what you're trying to accomplish, but that's essentially what can change as you start to vary the height of this tee. So just keep that in mind the next time you go out and play. So here's a bonus tip for you if you want to check your tee height and make sure it's repeatable. So some of the tees that you might even have like some lines on it. That would be a good way, obviously, to make sure you're teeing it up at the exact same height that you want every time. But a good place to get started is when you go to tee this golf ball up, once that tee goes into the ground and you get it into the place that you think it needs to be, go ahead and take your driver, put it behind the golf ball. And if you're trying to tee the ball a little bit higher, what you probably want is about half of the golf ball above the top of the face of the driver. So essentially half the ball on the face, half the ball above. That'd be a good starting point for teeing the ball a little higher. If you're gonna tee it lower, I would essentially try to get the entire golf ball below the crown of the golf club. So if you're going for that lower tee height, you want essentially all of the golf ball to be centered on the face. That'd be a good place to get started. One other additional bonus tip that I use is I actually use my finger when I'm putting a tee in the ground outside. So I will put my ring finger on my right hand down, and once my ring finger hits the ground, I know that is the height of the tee that I want. It's not gonna really stay in place here inside just because the grass outside would hold it a little better, but that's what I'll use. I'll use my ring finger as an indicator when I push that tee down. Once that hits the ground, that's how I know I've got the tee exactly how high I want it. So use that if you're struggling with figuring out exactly how high to tee it every single time. A couple different ways to go about it.